Okay, and we're back with the Gordie Howe International Bridge.
Yes, we are. What a fabulous design, though. I know it's not finished, but I'm just looking at like what a fabulous photo. Like, look how the water's got like the clouds in, and it's like the same. It's probably edited, but it's still a nice photo. It's still very pleasant to look at. But yeah, like
It
it's
is.
not the infrastructure is not complete yet. So it did make me laugh when you were like, "Here's the bridge," and I'm like, "Really? Is that a bridge?" I'm like, "Oh, it doesn't look very secure yet." And we're gonna
Well,
go plopping off the edge.
it's a suspension bridge.
There we go.
Or something like that. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
It's in the process of being built. They say it's opening in 2024. But this is
Ah.
another little thing whereby it almost never got started at all because of one American businessman who owns a little bridge down the river. A 95-year-old bridge that has been bringing in toll fee money for this man and his family for 95 years.
Yeah.
So when Canada said they wanted to open up a new bridge across into the USA to help with the traffic flow of trucks and vehicles and yada yada, this little 95-year-old man had a little heart attack and a hissy fit and went, you can't do that. No,
Yeah.
no, stop the build, stop the build. Everything, I mean, not every single time, but a lot of the time, Canada is being affected by one businessman
Mm-hmm.
because, this is for big business. This is a multi-billion-dollar thing that is going to bring multiple billions of dollars of business between the two countries.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
one person wants to control the only way they go.
And that's so unfair. So, really, as we were sort of discussing, this is the actual moment when some person is profiting off it, really. The
Yeah.
minority is profiting and not the majority. And and that's almost like a very egotistical thing. It's almost very narcissistic. It's like, I want my name on this. I'm doing it this way because it's going to bring in money to my pocket. I don't really care how it affects other people, but I know it's going to help me out. And it's like, well, hang on a minute. You've got two different countries here. You've got this infrastructure in between, this sort of meeting point, this sort of why should only one person be profiting off this? Doesn't
Well,
make any
they
sense to me.
shouldn't. I
Like,
mean, that's one
no.
of the I mean, it's taken since 2002 to get this thing up and started and being built. So it's been a couple of prime ministers getting it sorted. And
Yeah.
what Canada had to do, we had to buy property in America so that we could build it across. Canada had to take control of the toll fees and everything like that so that the
Yeah.
USA didn't have to deal with one little businessman and his bridge down the road.
Ah, there you go then. And it's still mind-boggling to me. When I first came to Canada, I didn't realize how close you were to the US. And then when I went to Niagara Falls, and I think my boyfriend at the time was like, "That's America there." I was like, "No, it's not." He's like, "Yes, it is." I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, literally, that is America, literally over there." And it's so crazy to me when you go to Niagara Falls, you're watching the falls, and then you've got Americans on the other side enjoying the same thing that you're experiencing, but we're in two separate countries. That just really boggled my mind. Like, I'm like, wow, geography, who would have thought? Because like I'm so used to little tiny England where it's everything's sort of kept in England. It's very small. I feel like you could walk everywhere. And then yeah, so it's just crazy to me that you can just take one little leap and then you're over in the US. So there you go.
Well, not exactly. You'd need a
No,
big stretch.
yeah, no, well, guaranteed you need your RD, and they're like, "Why are you in the country?" and all this jazz. So that's about as far as you're gonna get with all those questions. But yeah, it's quite convenient if you ever want to pop over to the US. There's essentially just a bridge right there. So
Well, they get, I think there's a lot of confusion. I mean, I know Canada and America have like had ties for years and years and years, but we've got apparently Canadians thinking that they can go down south of the border and
yeah,
yell and scream and protest for American politics or politicians or whatever it is they're down there for. Or even like the guy did to Nancy Pelosi's husband. He was
yeah,
a Canadian. I mean, who are you? Just
yeah.
sorry, what makes you think that as a foreigner you can go down into another country and protest for them or tell them that you want their politicians in charge? And
Yeah.
it's who are you people? But
Something that, yeah, I don't agree with that. Like going to another country, I get it if you want to be part of that, but yeah, we've had a lot of that going on over here in Canada, haven't we? We've had, pardon me, we've had other people just come over to the soil and be like, yeah, and it's like, what are you
well, yeah,
doing?
exactly. It's no more our right from Canada or Britain to go to the USA or to a foreign country and start fighting for their politicians or against their politicians. We can fight on our side of the border, but we're not supposed to go down there. I mean, you take a look at, I'm not going to go into the serious discussion of it because it just gets all far too much. But you take a look at Trudeau and Xi Jinping. They're having a little pissing fit at each other at the moment. Basically, what it is China have had or do still have Chinese police stations that are arresting Chinese people in Canada.
That's strange. Why? What's the dynamic of that then? Why is that happening?
As again, there's more politics and rabbit holes for me to go swimming my way down to find out what's what. But the basic idea is that at a recent meeting of all the governments, COP27 or something like that, Xi Jinping and Trudeau were in this meeting where Trudeau discussed these alleged police stations, Chinese police stations operating on Canadian soil. And now, before COP27 even came out, this had already been reported in the Vancouver and the Toronto newspapers that these things had happened. So, of course, Trudeau mentions it to Xi Jinping at whatever event this was.
Yeah.
And then he goes out and he tells our newspapers what his meeting was about, which was about this stuff.
Yeah.
So the next thing you know, you got Xi Jinping having a whole yelling fit at this event, saying, "You can't do that." Excuse me, I'm Canadian,
Yes.
you're Chinese. I have rights to tell my people things. It's not, you're not my problem. You're interfering in our country. Don't you tell me what to do. So, of course, this is called a whole figgity-foggity poo about all sorts of bits and pieces. But then you still have our own opposition politicians in this country then fighting to turn around and say, well, why aren't you telling us more? The law says in an ongoing investigation, you don't give out all your information.
No.
You're only supposed, you give out the surface stuff, but the real details and nitty gritty you can't give because it's under investigation. You give out too much information about something under investigation, you're going to twist the outcome. It's going to be skewed one way or another, whichever way you go.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Like I was sort of saying, it's almost like this power, this dominance, what this Chinese guy has, like with Trudeau. It's almost like he doesn't want him to lead his own people. And it's almost like he wants to take over the reins and be like, nah. And I don't feel that's right. I don't really feel like it's fair because that's Trudeau's job. That's his responsibility, is to look after his own, speak up for his people, speak up for his tribe. And then you've got this like random guy who I don't really know too much about just sort of coming in and be like, actually, no.
Yeah, I'm China, I'm bigger.
Here. Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to take the spotlight because I want this power. I want power over you. I want power over your people. I want the power. And it's just a bit like, well, hang on a minute. You haven't been with our people, you haven't been with our tribe, and you're coming in, you're like trying to dictate how he should run certain policies and how he should run a country, how he should respond to people. It's just like, come on, like settle down. We know it's an ego power thing.
I mean, we're not the only one that people do this to. I mean, CIA have been doing it across the world for years, but that's a whole other story. And we're coming to the end of our next 10 minutes or our last 10 minutes. So I'm going to go out with the weather.
There we are. Yeah.
This is what we have coming. Come for the snow. Actually, sorry, come for the scenery. Stay for the snow. Because you can't leave. And that's it.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, the snow over here.
Please like and subscribe.
Absolutely. Like and subscribe. We'll be back here weekly to do our videos, and in the meantime, share it with your friends and your family and all that jazz. And for now, it's bye from me, Alana.
And bye from me, Tracy. See you soon.
Catch you next time. Bye.